up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. So the DA, which is a white, predominantly South African political party, wants Vladimir Putin arrested when he lands to South Africa for the Brics summit. Very, very scary and interesting. But first, let's watch Julius Malema and I make a comment right after. Let's go.
We need to get out of the ICC because there is international inconsistency when it comes to application of the rule of law by the ICC.
Crazy! These people want Vladimir Putin arrested in South Africa. And it's one specific political party that wants him arrested. Yes, it's the DA. Let's watch.
Well, ICC, we must get out of it. The ANC is confused. I've never seen such a confused organization that is controlled by white capital. The SG speaks from Little House, says we're moving out of ICC. The president speaks from Union Building, we're moving out of ICC, same day. Later in the evening, they come back, they say there was a mistake committed, we're not leaving the ICC.
Okay, for context, Vladimir Putin has got a war going right now with Ukraine. The Western countries don't like it. Okay, so because many countries have signed that piece of paper at the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, that was created initially to take to court, to justice, most of the people that will do a crime of war and all the bad things in the world, it was a very good idea in the beginning. They were complied to arrest Putin whenever he lands in whichever country that signs signatory to that paper. You know what I'm saying? If you signed at the ICC, if you signed at that convention, if Vladimir Putin lands in your country, you are forced to arrest him and send him to the ICC. Why do they want Putin at the ICC? They accused him of taking children from Ukraine and taking them to Russia. Now, on the Russian side, they believe they took the kids away to avoid damage. They were in an area where bombardment and explosion could have hurt those children. And that's the reason why they moved those kids to avoid the worst. Now, who is right, who's wrong? We don't know. But they have come forward saying whichever country that is part of the ICC is obliged to arrest Vladimir Putin and take him to court, to the ICC. Now, Russia is part of Brics, and they have a big meeting happening in August in South Africa. And Putin, as being the head of state of Russia, is obliged to come to South Africa to be part of the Brics movement. However, because South Africa signed that piece of paper of the ICC, they are now forced to arrest Vladimir Putin if he lands in South Africa. And that is why Julius Malema is very angry, saying, why are we still part of the ICC? Let's watch.
How can the president and the SG commit the same mistake when they are in two separate places at the same time? The white capital that controls the ANC went to reprimand them immediately after they had spoken. What an international embarrassment, because this was said in front of a visiting head of state. So if you don't know what these people are doing, just look at what they did the last time about the ICC.
So you can see what he's trying to say is like the president came forward and said we're not part of the ICC anymore, okay? And then the very next day he changed his words, saying no, we didn't say that. Now Julius Malema believed because the ANC is run by white capital, so white people who have power, they probably came and reprimanded them saying don't do that, you're gonna stay in the ICC. And that is the reason why they changed the word on the very next day, as per Julius.
We need to get out of the ICC because there is international inconsistency when it comes to application of the rule of law by the ICC. We cannot have people who committed genocides being free and America not even be a signatory at the ICC, yet we must be a signatory. It's very clear that the ICC is created to anyone who disagrees with the America. So we cannot allow that. We cannot allow America to police us by the rules that itself cannot follow. Why is George Bush not in prison? Why is Obama not in prison? It is Obama who led the killing of Brother Gaddafi here in Africa. So we cannot allow that. We cannot allow a situation where this thing is selective. President Putin is more than welcome here, and no one is going to arrest President Putin. Everyone who says that is blowing a hot air. I don't think the Premier of Western Cape knows what he's talking about. If he wants to meet his maker prematurely.
So he's talking here about the Premier of the Western Cape. Western Cape is a province of South Africa that is run by the DA. The DA is a predominantly white political party in South Africa that stand for what they stand. They're not necessarily for the things that the other people stand for. So basically, the DA, which is a white predominantly political party in South Africa, wants Vladimir Putin arrested, while the ANC, that is a black majority South African political party, is okay with Putin coming to South Africa and back. Why? Because as per them, as per black South Africans, Russia and the USSR at the time helped them fight against apartheid. When they were suffering, when they had issues and difficulties, when they were going through painful and hardship at the end of the white supremacies, the Russians helped them fight. The Russians or the USSR gave them weapons to resist. So they are morally indebted to them. They have to be good with them because they have been their friends for the longest time. So look at it in a different perspective. The ANC supports Vladimir Putin, whose country or USSR supported them back in time, while the DA, which is majority white political party, supports the idea of the West, which is arresting Putin. Now you see what direction we're going.
No one can do that. Not even Biden can say such a regular statement when it comes to Putin. Putin is more than welcome here. You know, what he said, that premier of Western Cape, reminds me of the 2019 elections when we were in a voting station after forming the EFF 2014, not 2019, 2014 elections. My brother is a party agent there. And then he sees my grandmother's friends coming in to vote, and they don't vote for the EFF. When he went home, he said to my grandmother, your friends must no longer come here. That day he knew who was the owner, because my grandmother said that is not going to happen. And those people who did not vote for EFF continue coming into our family. This is his home. We are standing here in Soweto today without soldiers, without police. This place during the struggle was an army base. We are not allowed to have any political activity here. Today, we are free because we fought those people with the guns that were given to us by Soviet Union. And at the center of the Soviet Union was Russia. And today we cannot turn against our friends who were there for us during a needy time and the most difficult time.
So basically, we have a situation here where the DA, which is a white predominant political party in South Africa, putting pressure on the court, asking the court to ask government, which is ANC, the Nelson Mandela political party, to arrest Vladimir Putin when he lands in South Africa, which is a very big thing to ask. The president of the Republic of South Africa has responded to that. He said, arresting Putin will be a declaration of war against Russia, Ramaphosa said on a confidential affidavit. President Cyril Ramaphosa has told the High Court in Gauteng that arresting Russian President Vladimir Putin, if he traveled to South Africa for the Brics summit in August, will be a declaration of war against Russia, and the president did not want the public to know that. However, the court ruled on Tuesday that Ramaphosa and his government's response to the DA legal attempt to force the government to arrest Putin should be made public. It will be a reckless, unconstitutional, unlawful exercise of the power conferred upon to the government to declare war with Russia by arresting President Putin, Ramaphosa told the court in his affidavit, which he argued should be kept secret. It will be inconsistent with our constitution to risk engaging in war with Russia. I have constitutional obligation to protect the national sovereignty, peace and security of the Republic, and respect, protect, promote and fulfill the right of the people of the Republic to life, safety and security, among other rights in Bill or rights, he said. So President Ramaphosa, in other words, saying, you are asking me to arrest Putin because you obviously, as a DA, it looks like you have support from the West, doesn't it? Because let me just remind you, the premier of the Western Cape, the chief of the DA at the moment, went to Ukraine on a trip lately to go and look for himself to see the damage done there. Not the president of South Africa, but the president of a political party, the DA, went to Ukraine, went and marched, looked at things and made his own, So you are asking us as a country to arrest Putin, risking the possibility of putting us at war against Russia. Is it worth it? That's the question the President of the Republic is asking. And Julius Malema, again in very strong terms, says South Africa should leave the ICC. It looks like the ICC only attacks people who do not agree with the West. So if the West says something, the West say A and you say B, then the ICC follows you. If the West say C and you say D, the ICC follows you. He says if the ICC was a fair organization, why isn't Tony Blair called to the ICC? Why isn't Bush called to the ICC? They did horrendous things in Iraq, Afghanistan, just to count very few. Where are all these people? Why is the ICC only people from Africa and all other places in the world? Where are the Western people? Are they never into bad things? It doesn't make sense, as per Julius Malema. So this is very interesting. Let me know how you feel. I'd like to know. Should South Africa arrest Vladimir Putin? What are the real risks of that? Do people even fathom, as a DA boss says it very strongly? And let me just remind you that it's the DA boss that say that South Africa he confirmed that South Africa was sending weapons to Russia in an accusation to the President of the Republic, when the President said, you know what, you need to calm down. We have an investigative team that's working on that to find real answers to that. Until the investigation is done, we cannot say a thing. We do not have the means to give them ammunition. We don't have it. Let me know how you feel about this. How do you feel about what Malema said? Is it okay to arrest Putin because of the accusation they did? Was Putin right to take those kids away from the firing section of Ukraine to protect them? Was it wrong? I would like to know about you. It's always a great pleasure. It's about exchanging. It's not about me. It's about all of us putting in our ideas together. God bless.